Gareth Taylor explodes over Chloe Kelly clash. WSL Bombshell shakes Manchester City. Hope you're all having an amazing day. Before we get started, if you're a true football fan, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and smash the thumbs up. Let's jump right into the action. The Women's Super League has always been a breeding ground for drama, passion, and unfiltered debate, but rarely has the conversation carried such weight and sharpness as the ongoing tension between Gareth Taylor and the legacy of Chloe Kelly's role at Manchester City. Taylor, who stepped down from his post after an eventful tenure in charge of City Women, has now found himself at the center of a storm that simply refuses to die down. His refusal to backtrack or soften his stance on the Chloe Kelly debate has divided fans, frustrated pundits, and created an intensity that reflects both the importance of player management and the complex relationships behind the scenes in top-level women's football. Taylor insists he has nothing to apologize for. He has defended his treatment of Kelly and doubled down on his belief that the direction he took Manchester City was the correct one, even if it meant clashing with one of the most decorated and influential forwards in English football. His comments have reignited debates about player power versus managerial authority, exposing fault lines not only at City but across the wider WSL. To many, it is the perfect storm: a former boss who refuses to admit mistakes, a player who has become an icon after her historic Euro 2022 heroics for England, and a fan base that cannot decide where the truth really lies. When Taylor first addressed the subject publicly, few expected him to be so unapologetic. He described Kelly as a fantastic player, but insisted that his tactical setup and management style were never designed to revolve around one individual. In his words, Manchester City had to remain a collective, not a one-player team. Yet the timing of those remarks, coming as Kelly was still finding her sharpest form after injury setbacks, did not sit well with supporters. They felt their star was being undervalued, dismissed, or even indirectly blamed for City's inconsistencies. Taylor, however, was unyielding. He argued that criticism was part of elite football and that the biggest mistake would have been to shield Kelly from scrutiny simply because of her reputation. The irony is that Kelly's biggest career moment, scoring the winner in the Euro 2022 final against Germany at Wembley, happened outside the Manchester City framework. For England, she was given freedom, responsibility, and faith from Serena Wiegman. For City under Taylor, the narrative became one of restraint, tactical adjustments, and questions about whether she was truly trusted to lead. That contrast between her club experience and her international stardom remains one of the most contested issues in the WSL circles today. Taylor's decision to hold firm on his position has only deepened the sense that there was always an invisible barrier between manager and player, an unspoken disagreement about her best role and her value to the team. Insiders at City have spoken about how Taylor, often labeled pragmatic and conservative in his tactical choices, believed Kelly's style did not always fit seamlessly into his vision. He wanted control, possession, and structured attacks. Kelly thrived in chaos, in transition, in moments where instinct triumphed over structure. It was a classic footballing clash of ideologies: system versus freedom, rigidity versus expression. Taylor has since defended those choices by pointing out the balance he had to maintain within a squad of big personalities and even bigger expectations. In his words, keeping harmony sometimes meant making unpopular calls. Yet Kelly's advocates argue that the manager's stance was short-sighted. They believe Taylor failed to harness the best out of a once-in-a-generation wide forward who could frighten defenses across Europe. They argue that his refusal to give her the platform she deserved not only hurt Kelly, but also limited City's ceiling as a team. Every time Kelly sparkled for England, the questions grew louder. Why did she not look as dangerous in light blue? Why was she not the focal point she had clearly become under Wiegman? For supporters, this was not just a tactical debate, it was an emotional one. Kelly had delivered one of the most important goals in English football history, and they felt she had earned the right to be celebrated, trusted, and unleashed. Taylor's unwillingness to concede any ground has transformed the debate into a saga that goes beyond City. In many ways, it reflects the growing pains of the WSL itself. The league is now under the microscope more than ever, and every managerial decision, every player controversy is magnified. Taylor's words have sparked wider questions about how female players are judged compared to male counterparts, how much respect managers give to players who are also national icons, and whether the structures of the women's game are equipped to handle this level of scrutiny. In interviews since his departure, Taylor has emphasized that his conscience is clear. He insists that decisions about Kelly were purely football-related and that the player herself remained professional. But he has also made it clear that he won't rewrite history to suit the dominant narrative. In his eyes, managing Manchester City women meant making hard choices, and he refuses to apologize for being consistent. He has acknowledged the criticism, but maintained that leadership requires strength of conviction, not the bending of truth under pressure. This battle of perception has made Taylor one of the most divisive figures in recent WSL history. Some admire his honesty and his refusal to pander to popular opinion. Others see stubbornness, a failure to admit that perhaps he could have handled his star player differently. What is undeniable is that his comments have ensured his tenure will always be remembered not just for trophies, tactics, or results, but for the Chloe Kelly debate that became a defining feature of his reign. As for Kelly, her response has been largely silent in public, but her performances have continued to speak volumes. Every assist, every driving run, every decisive goal for England reminds fans of her unique qualities. For City, the new era without Taylor represents a chance to redefine her role, to build around her strengths, rather than mold her into something else. The contrast between her club experience and her international stardom will remain a live issue, especially as expectations grow for City to compete with Chelsea, Arsenal, and Manchester United for dominance in the women's game. The real question now is whether Taylor's firm stance will age well. Will history judge him as a manager who stood his ground in the face of public pressure, or as one who failed to adapt to his star player's strength? In football, perception often changes with time. Kelly's career is far from finished and her legacy is still being written, but for Taylor, the chapter may already be closed, and the Kelly debate will forever shape how his managerial reign is remembered. In the end, this story captures the essence of modern women's football, the clash between tradition and progress, between authority and individuality, between managers and players who are becoming icons in their own right. Gareth Taylor's refusal to back down has ensured his legacy will always be contested, and Chloe Kelly's brilliance has guaranteed that the debate will never be silenced. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe our Football Focus YouTube channel for more update news.